Hello everyone, Inco here, and we are back with the Mordor campaign, and we are about to march onto Brie with our two armies. We're probably like 10 turns away, it looked like, roughly. Our movement is incredibly slow because we're dragging along all of our siege equipment with us, but I'm hoping that we will be able to besiege Brie this turn, so I'm going to try to breeze, you see what I did there? Breeze through the episode. There's not a lot going on aside from, us advancing our armies. Just a bunch of units being shuffled around as usual. Death stalks the land, apparently, in Rovanosht. So that sucks for Dale, not so bad for us, though. Speaking of Dale, they're sending an assassin by the name of Wither here, who is neither here nor there, all the way to Thornburg, probably to try to assassinate Ren the Unclean, who I'm told, by a certain commenter, his name is actually Clean the Unclean. Ren means clean, I think he said in Norwegian or something, which was hilarious to me. Thought I'd bring it up anyway. As for our income, we're only getting 1,300 per turn, but I want to save up to build a big barracks in West Osgiliath, and then eventually we'll get a drill square, or the next step up. I imagine it's a drill square. Yes, I should know that by now. That way we have two really good recruitment centers around Minas Tirith, all alongside, Arnak and Pelargir, etc. That way we can recruit a shit ton of Uruks in the center of our kingdom, and then push them north or to the west if we need to. Faction announcements, nothing worthwhile. Queues have stalled because we can't afford that barracks, but we have built a mining network in Little Marshwall. Look at that. Now we are getting... What am I doing here? Jesus, we are getting 400 gold from mining. Only 400, which is a little bit underwhelming. I would have thought it would have been more. But perhaps at some point we can try to pump a little bit more gold into Little Marshwall. Just beautify the place. Plant some trees, perhaps. I don't know. We have recruited a spy in Entwade for no particular reason other than... we were able to. So we're going to get him to keep an eye on Rohan while we are away. Of course, we've got our own spy by the name of Lug, keeping an eye out ahead of our armies. So it looks like Lunluck, an army led by, or I should say an army of Isengard, is going to try to capture Dunyard. So it looks like Isengard is actually starting to make some moves, or perhaps they're trying to reconquer their territory. I don't know. But looking at this army, it's not bad at all. They've got some clansmen, some veterans, as well as a huge amount of heavily armored Urukai and some wargs. It's nice. The Orcs of Gundabad apparently love us, as does Isengard. Which... Is it Orcs of the Misty Mountains that are the vassals? Yes, it is. So we'll have to take the war to them eventually, at some point. In the meantime, we may as well, I don't know, end the turn, because there's not a lot going on. We've pretty much... built all of our armies. We've got tons of units flowing around, just filling all of our ranks. We do need some archers, I suppose. I thought we had begun recruiting some somewhere, but I may be wrong. There are some trolls here in Barad-dûr that can head back to the front lines. And I thought there was a unit of Olaghai as well, but perhaps they're already en route. Here they are. Okay, they're going to head to Thornburg. Do we want to keep some trolls in reserve in Malgalad, perhaps? Because Ren the Unclean already has 2 troll units. Dwarvois is missing 1. Perhaps we can give a unit of Olaghai to Dwarvois. I don't know. We are beginning to actually, saturate our armies of trolls, which is wunderbar. But anyway, as I said, I think we may as well end the turn, head on to turn 198. And continue on towards Brie. We have a long way to go. Well, we have failed to assassinate Hirgon, and now the Council of Nobles, all 12 of the Elder Orcs, or whatever the fuck they are, they're just very upset with us. And I have to say, I'm not too distraught about that. They can go suck a fuck for all I care, because we've got other things on our mind, namely the capture of Brie and the return of the One Ring. I'm surprised that that's not, one of their main objectives. They're trying to get us to kill some random asshole when we could actually be bringing the rebirth of the Great Lord Sauron, but here we are, twiddling our thumbs. So it looks like Lunluck is actually going off somewhere else. I don't know, I don't know where he's going, I don't know. Perhaps Isengard is at war with the High Elves. It appears so. Looks like Gulfumble is still witnessing a massive plague. And I don't really give a shit. Okay, so Karen Dross, we've recruited some archers just for garrison, as well as some archers in Minas Tirith for garrison as well. Some garrison units that can also double as frontline units if necessary. Speaking of frontline units, let's replace the mountain trolls in Dwarf Wah's army with some Oleg High. So Ren the Unclean can have 2 units of mountain trolls. Dwarf Wah can have Oleg High as well as spiders. I mean, ultimately, both of them could have 2 units of trolls and probably some spiders as well. But that's just getting a little bit greedy, considering our expenditures are skyrocketing. Speaking of expenditures, we've got some new reinforcements heading towards Edoras and some other units that need some retraining. There they are. Now, we do have some trolls here, so that's a great unit to have on the front lines, perhaps to turn into like a frontline unit if we need. Perhaps some of these orcs can march out and destroy some armies of Rohan if they need to. We're basically just garrisoning the west for now, as we are doing in the north. I think we have a very strong position in the north. We've got 2 massive, beautiful armies, and it looks to me as if the Sylvans don't really have a lot going on the border. On the border, I should say. They've just got 1 big army led by Ragbund. And then that's about it. There's not much else going on. As for Rohan, though, holy shit, they've got a lot of troops just roaming around. They've got stack after stack. Here's prime example number 1, Captain Fram. Just fuck me up, Fram. And also Captain Guthbrand, we've met him. Captain Peda as well. So it's a bit of a situation. We just have to keep an eye on those guys because we never know if they're going to turn on us. So that's why I've got all the spies. Anyway, again, I think we'll end the turn. We should be getting roughly, 1,000 gold coins next turn as well. Not a lot to be done with that. We are currently upgrading our barracks in West Osgiliath. I'm hoping at some point we can upgrade our recruitment buildings on the front lines in the west as well. I think Entwade can have a drill square or even potentially a Dark Temple of Melkor. That would help out a lot. Edoras, Aldborg, they've already got their shrines, and as a result, the culture is doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good as far as the conversion is going. I think Entwade probably... Actually, no, the culture is it's doing pretty good there as well, so I think a drill square in Entwade is next on the menu. Other than that, our next course is the ending of turn 198. Alright, it appears that our income has taken a dive even further, now only at 400. Our tribute from Rohan to the tune of 500 per turn is probably going to come to an end anytime soon, so we're going to be running in the red. Did you guys like that bit of a rhyme we had going on there? So I think what we need to do very quickly is get into a conflict so that... what's the quickest way to Brie? No, it's not going to be past those towns, that's for sure. We're going to get stuck in the zone of control if we're not careful. Oh shit, I guess Isengard has captured South Cardolan, or they have owned it for the entirety of the campaign. I'm not sure. I think that's perhaps where Lund was going. He was heading that way. And speaking of, we ought to move our armies that way as well, because there's no way we're going past whatever the hell this is, South Tharbad and North Tharbad? Yeah. There's no way we're going to get by there, so we're going to have to circumnavigate those 2 towns. As for the rest of the kingdom, absolutely fucking nothing is happening because we are focusing solely on one thing. Although, having said that, there is one thing I want to bring up, and that is that Hrun and Harad keep trying to, I'm going to say, bribe my generals every turn. Here is Jubair here. He is trying to, I don't know, they extend their scrolls towards the towns every turn, so I can only assume that they're trying to bribe unless they're just forever offering their hands in marriage, and time after time they're being rejected, which would be probably the saddest thing in this entire campaign. Like, these two guys are rival lovers to rend the unclean, which is not a good sign when your lover when your lover is called the unclean. Like, perhaps you may want to go to the doctor for that one, especially when he has a big black hole for a face. You may want to say, I don't know, he could have any number of diseases. Some may not even be known to mankind. But anyway, they're two rival lovers, and turn after turn, season after season, they're just competing for the love of Ren the Unclean. But again, I think it's time to end the turn and hit turn 200. Jesus crimey, that's a long campaign, everyone. 200 turns on camera, and now we have 200 turns remaining to complete the campaign. I think as soon as we get Sauron, we're going to bring the hurt big time. Okay, we have a new assassination mission to kill Ragbund, just north of Tirith Anduin, which is very bizarre. As I said, for some reason these guys are not concerned about the One Ring. I don't know what to say. I do not know what to say. Okay, so we are still barely in the black. We are very nearly going to lose our edge, though, as soon as our diplomatic tribute is up. So I think what we'll do is just disband this one unit, and that will bring us above 500. So we will be gaining 17 gold per turn as soon as that diplomatic... Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. The following factions have declared that they are allies: Isengard and the High Elves. So it looks like Isengard has now become a vassal of the High Elves, which is very awkward. Oh my. So, I don't know what to say. It looks like we're going to be at war with both the Orcs of the Misty Mountains and Isengard eventually. This is very bizarre. I don't know what to say about it's a weird situation, so I'm just going to pretend that it doesn't exist. Let's just move on towards Brie. Our Nazgul are freezing their asses off in the cold winters of Middle-earth, but it looks to me like we are just a couple of turns away, so we can still make it this episode, 5 turns away, but we'll definitely have to take on Isengard if we are to complete our victory condition, which is to knock out the High Elves, the Sylvan Elves, etc. Very odd. But anyway, I think, again, we'll just end the turn. Nothing's going on. Huh, okay, so apparently at turn 201, we get a brand new Nazgul, which is very odd. Who and what is his name? Let's see. Look at this. It's Uvatha the Horseman. Is that really his name? Okay, I don't know. For those of you who've been watching the campaign for many a year, you would know that there at one point was a very famous Orcish general by the name Uvatha the Horseman. So I can only assume that this is that Orcish general reborn. He bravely died defending Thornburg, and now he is reborn as a Nazgul general. I cannot believe it. But in truth, it's probably like a weird scripting error. Okay, so we're going to send Uvatha the Horseman, the second coming of Christ. He's going to head to Edoras to defend the west whilst our other 2 Nazgul are away. Okay? Alright? Very bizarre. So something else, which is extremely bizarre, okay? So the High Elves have vassalized Isengard, and yet Rohan is still at war with Isengard, so I almost wonder, will we see Rohan declaring war on the High Elves, or conversely, the High Elves declaring war on Isengard? That would be incredibly interesting. Okay, so here's Lunluck, who is still allied with us as well. It's really weird. We're allied with Isengard, who in turn is allied with the High Elves, because they're vassals. So that makes the High Elves like friends of friends in a way. So that means we can very easily go out to lunch and avoid like the awkward third wheel kind of situation, because we're like friends of friends. We don't have to meet these new people. It'll be fine. So we're still a few turns away. Rohan hasn't done much. They've moved Guthbrand into our lands. And Wade is still thousands of coins away from building that barracks. And I've just realized as well, probably now that Uvatha has been reborn, we are going to have to pay for him to the tune of 420 coins. So I'm going to very quickly look to find where we can trim some fat. So I'll see you guys in just a moment with turn 202. Okay, so we are just barely treading water financially. 200 gold coins per turn, and it looks like Druiden Forest somehow is able to upgrade. So that's on the agenda at some point. At 5:30, we'll be having cocktails, and the first course will be served at 6:30. Okay, so we are still advancing towards Brie, and you know what, I'm wondering, as soon as we get the Dark Lord of Mordor, ergo Sauron, as soon as we get Sauron, what is our goal going to be? Are we going to declare war on the elves right away, or do we want to finish off Rohan and risk getting bogged down in a war with the High Elves in Isengard? Because what I imagine is if we focus on the Sylvan Elves and Dale, we will also, well, we'll be facing 1, 2, 3 factions, and then eventually a 4th faction in the Dwarves, just to accomplish our war goal / victory condition. So I think it's really one or the other. Do we focus on the Elves, or do we focus on Rohan? Personally, I think it would be easier to eliminate Rohan right away and risk having to deal with the High Elves, although Rohan still has a lot of troops, so we'd have to probably bring some manpower over just to make that happen quickly. Although, having said that, a war with the North would probably go extremely quickly. We could probably blitz it with our 3 armies, plus Sauron, plus whatever we can spare from the West. I don't know. I think consolidating in the West and then focusing on the North would probably be the best bet. So we'll try that. Having said that, though, again, we could just declare 2 wars, and the war in the North, as I said, will go very quickly because we have 3 armies, and then by the time we probably meet massive resistance, we will have dealt with Rohan. So, those are all of our options. Just want to, get your guys' opinion, but we will continue towards Brie. 3 turns away. We will most definitely besiege the place this turn. At some point, we'll have to address our income issues. Mostly it's because we have all of these armies standing by with, a little bit of reinforcements as well. We don't need these scouts. I'm going to get rid of them. I'm trying to pretty much just shying away from scouts, destroying them wherever they are found. In other words, I'm committing a bit of a genocide versus scouts. If I see any orcs who have a bit of a fondness for a bow, my eyes go red, much like in Kill Bill. You guys know that part? Yeah. Anyway, I think we'll just get Sauron and go from there. Anyway, let's end the turn again. So Harad is actually having quite a bit of trouble in the lands of Gondor. Anulon has also turned rebel. They've just recaptured Longalen, which is probably going to rebel again because they've just got 1 unit of garrison there. I can't see the public order, but I can only assume that it's going horribly for Harad. It looks to me like we are actually climbing some of the faction rankings here. If we look at the top 5 factions, Harad is way the fuck up there. No? Who is that? Oh, sorry, that's Harad. Here's Run, here's Harad, here's us. The dwarves are doing pretty well because they haven't had a war with probably anyone. But I don't know, has Harad taken a bit of a dive at all? Well, I can tell that their growth has slowed a lot since we've pretty much penned them in with the capture of these Rohan territories here, Edoras, Dunharrow, Aldborg, etc. They have not advanced into Durwath, unfortunately. I think they're busy dealing with rebellion in Gondor. It's very unfortunate for them. So these 2 competing lovers are still at odds. It seems like Edgu and Borland are still having lots of issues. I don't know. Maybe there'll come a time where they will see eye to eye and actually try to court Ren the Unclean almost as like a unit, like proposing a permanent three-way kind of thing. Like, they all agree to have a weird love triangle. I don't know, this sounds like it might be the plot to like a foreign French film. Les Cousins Dangereux. Okay, so Rohan is actually advancing a few troops towards Entwade. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I think... shit, we have a spy in Edoras I completely forgotten about. We do want to keep an eye on, like, Guinard and Foldberg and Fangorn most... You know, more than anything, because that's going to be the power base of Rohan. I think we'll move a few units towards Entwade to try to act as a deterrent to these units of Rohan. Our troops are a turn away, unfortunately, so it's not like we can garrison immediately, which is unfortunate. I was really hoping we would be able to, like, move our units within a turn, although that's true of Edoras, Aldborg, Dunharrow, not so much Entwade, Woldburg, etc. So it looks to me like we are, what, 3 turns away from Brie? No, 2 turns away from the besieging of Brie. We probably want Dawn Death to besiege first, so it's actually 3 turns away. As for the north, nothing is happening. Ragbund is still camping on that bridge. Hrun is still in a fucking deadlock with Dale, so we're definitely going to have to intervene at some point. But first and foremost, let's get that Sauron. Well, surprise, surprise, Rohan has betrayed us after only, what, like 10 turns of peace? Captain Guthbrand has attacked Captain Nagrad here. We'll try to withdraw. I'm not confident we will be able to. Oh, look at that. That's all it took. So now we can move into Entwade, rather. Garrison it and try to hold the fort until Uvatha the Horseman arrives. And then maybe we can build, like... Oh, look at this. Dale is offering trade rights. Why the hell not? Maybe we can get a bit of a regular tribute situation going on. Like, I don't know, 500 gold for 10 turns? Would that work?
I do not believe I'm able.
Just rejected. We will... Oh, shit, that's... Sure, why not? We'll do that.
Honor and a pleasure.
Yeah, so as long as Uvatha the Horseman arrives, we can build a shitty little half-stack army to fend off whatever incursions Rohan's going to send at us. I assume Rohan is going to throw a couple stacks at us right away. But hopefully, by the time that occurs, Dawn Death and Hormwrath will have returned. If necessary, we could always just send one of our armies back right now, because we probably only need a single stack to take Brie. I don't know. Okay, anyway, not a lot has going on. We have built a barracks in West Osgiliath. Lovely. We are not going to have a lot of gold, though. I think we won't actually build that barracks in Entwade right away. I would rather keep the gold just in case the war gets nasty and we need some cash. So we'll move our garrison from Dunharrow to Edoras. Aldborg should be fine for now. Woldburg should be fine. Entwade is doing pretty good for themselves. They're doing well. Uvatha is still way the hell back here because apparently I never actually initiated that move command. So he's turns away because I'm a complete asshole. I didn't do the proper thing. Now, I don't know. We could shave two turns off of Hormwrath's ride back to Entwade, but I don't know. It's to the point where 2 turns is not going to make a huge difference. 2 or 3 turns, rather, is not going to make a huge difference. So we're marching towards Brie. I'm hoping that perhaps we can attack the town and take it before the garrison script activates. I'm not really sure, entirely how that works. Lug is able to see that there's quite a few little armies kicking around full of Dunedain, Knights, Numenorian men-at-arms, shit like that. Or I should say, Arnorian men-at-arms. It's not looking so good. I'm surprised that Arnor has, formed and come back in such a badass way, but that's that. Okay, I don't know. We'll see what Rohan does and respond in kind. For now, let us just continue to advance towards Brie. So there isn't really any movement from Dale outside of Thornburg, nor is there any movement from the elves, so we're not really worried about them declaring war. Ragbund is still a bit of an issue, but Rohan is the biggest issue of all. Look at this, Captain Guthbrand. We don't even know, has Captain Guthbrand been sanctioned? Like, has he been sent by the king of Rohan, or has he just kind of gone rogue? Is he like a splinter cell of Rohirrim who think there can be no peace between Mordor and Rohan? It seems like a movie that John Travolta would have been in like the 90s, like an action movie, like Broken Arrow or Face Off or something. Was John Travolta in Broken Arrow? I don't think so. Anyway, what's going on here? An alliance has been announced between the dwarves and the free peoples of Eriador. So as soon as we declare war on Eriador to capture Brie, the dwarves are going to be pissed at us. And apparently they will declare war in kind and send stacks towards us. So we will be dealing with the Sylvans, Dale, and the dwarves. Also the orcs of the Misty Mountains at the same time. We'll definitely have to crush Rohan first. Now that they've declared war on us, it's inevitable. We're going to be going for their fucking heart. And we'll tear it out with malice. We'll be like the goddamn emperor of the well, I guess he's like the emperor of the empire, like Star Wars. You know, he's got to be the emperor. Okay, so we are just one turn away from besieging Brie. Is there anything we need to do before we end the turn aside from move Uvatha the horseman? Not so much. I guess he's going to go to Endwade and lead from there. We are still losing cash. I don't know why. But we do have a bit of a reserve just for this very reason. So that we don't have to worry about, you know, going broke in this specific instance. Now, we've got good line of sight on Rohan. We can see that there isn't really any armies of Rohan around. Aside from the full stack in Foldberg, Captain Guthbrand, etc., not a lot in Fangorn. So as soon as we get the ring and we get Sauron, I think it'll be... we'll just wash over them. It'll be crazy. We don't really want Hormarath to declare war right now, I don't think. We'll wait for Dondath Ugnag. Perhaps he can head towards... we'll probably want him around so that he can broker a peace as soon as we capture Brie and get the ring. Not that we're going to capture Brie, we'll probably just sack it and let it, you know, rebel or whatever. But anyway, let us end the turn, and finally, we will have besieged Brie in order to get the One Ring. Okay, so we are ready to besiege Brie. Here we go. Dondath is going to march to the very gates. He's going to walk like a man. Like a chivalrous man, Dondath the engineer now, Dondath the honest, the chivalrous, etc. He's going to march directly to the front gate of Brie to declare war. He's going to bust down the gate with his horse and crush the gatekeeper. It's going to be great. If we were to attack Brie right now, actually, would they have a garrison? It seems so. They've got some militia... Archer Militia, Battle Ready Dunedain Rangers, etc., etc. Nothing we can't handle. When we come back next episode, we will obviously besiege Brie, capture it, get the ring, etc., etc. But for now, we'll just do a bit of a quick overview. What's changed? It appears we are now at war with Eriador, obviously. The dwarves, interestingly enough, have not declared war. I thought they would have done, but there you go. Apparently, maybe it's gonna... I don't know. Perhaps it'll happen next turn. I couldn't say. Uvatha the Horseman is still a few turns away from Entwade, where he will build a shitty half-stack to defend the west. And you know what? I think we want to move... we'll move north with our armies. We'll grab Adunafel, and we'll build our little army here. We'll leave a unit of Orc Band behind. I was gonna say... for some reason, I was thinking like Orc Band, like boy band. There's like the pretty one, the bad one. Anyway, we'll grab our Raiders, our Maulers, and our Uruks. And there we go. We've got an army for Tirith Anduin. Well, no, we need to build an army for Tirith Anduin, but we do have an army for Ragbund. We'll meet Ragbund by that bridge, and we'll actually head to the center of the bridge, so if he tries to attack, of course, it'll be a bridge battle. Door of Wa will eventually march towards Dol Guldur, and I think we may want to leave Ren the Unclean in Thornburg, just in case Dale gets fresh, or, you know, kind of like, he can play as like a utility guy. Try to intercept any armies of the Sylvan Elves if they try to infiltrate our lines, and then, you know, once these two armies return, we can make a mess of Rohan, and I guess Uvatha can assist with his little half stack. I don't know. But anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. I hope you are enjoying it. Now that we have finally besieged Brie, when we come back, we will, of course, take it, get the One Ring, fucking bring it back in time for tea. It'll be great. If you're enjoying it, please leave a like. Please leave a comment for tips or any strategies, anything you can imagine, because obviously now is a critical point in the campaign. We really need to pick up the pace and capture territory, blitz it, basically. If you want to stay in touch with me, you know, get updates on uploads or anything like that, you can check me out on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and now a subreddit that I'm working on. As soon as it's ready, I'll let you guys know. And you know what? If you want to see another episode of our Mordor campaign, be sure to come back next Tuesday. I'll see you all then.